This memorial address was to have been made by Justice K.P. Radhakrishna Menon, who was a very close friend of Kundur Ravindranathan Nair. The mantle fell on my shoulders only due to the sad demise of Justice Radhakrishna Menon a few weeks before. Mr. Hari believes that after Radhakrishna Menon, I am the most eligible person to share memories of his father with you. True, I had a very close personal relationship with Sri Kundur Ravindranathan Nair. His father, late Kundur Krishnapillai, the founder General Secretary of the Nair Service Society and a leader of freedom movement in his native place Changanasheri, was a good friend and village mate of my own grandfather. I met Kundur Ravindranathan Nair for the first time in November 1974, immediately after my enrollment as a lawyer, as my father wanted me to meet the most reputed lawyer from his town, Changanasheri. Mr. Kundur received me with a smiling face, offered me tea, and introduced me to his twin sons as a very promising lawyer with roots in his own place. I had a taste of his professional abilities when I appeared against him in a civil appeal. He was simply brilliant. His diction and delivery was unmatchable. His common sense was uncommon. His choice of words was perfect. I realized that he was a very formidable opponent in the court hall. But then, his fairness, his nobility, the dignity of his manners, and his behavior both inside and outside the courtroom informed me that he was a man worth emulating. He was a conversationalist par excellence. His sense of humor was of the highest order. He was one of the stars at Manurand's corner, the northwestern corner of the portico of the old Advocates Association building. At least some of you must be remembering the enlightening discussions, which was an everyday feature at Manurand's corner. The Manurand's corner was not a gossiping corner. It was a storehouse of interesting and valuable information on law, politics, literature, and almost everything under the sky. Kundur Ravindranathan Nair, who used to be called Guru Kundur, was considered to be the language expert amongst the regular occupants of Manurand's corner. Due to his liking for me, I could sit close to the seniors there and enjoy the most enjoyable and enlightening conversations whenever I came to the High Court. In the words of Justice P.K. Balasubramanian, I can describe Kundur Ravindranathan Nair as one of the best civil lawyers the Kerala High Court has ever seen. Kundur Ravindranathan Nair's preparation of brief was meticulous. I must also say that his own senior, Sri N. Govinda Menon of Kottayam Bar himself was a lion of that bar. And all the four juniors of Sri Govinda Menon ended up as brilliant civil lawyers. The juniors were, apart from Sri Kundur, first Senior Advocate C.K. Shivashankara Panikar, father of Justice K.S. Radhakrishnan, then Senior Advocate T.R. Raman Pillai, father of my brother Ramachandran Nair, then Sri N. Raghav Kurup, who was the uncle of Senior Advocate Gopala Krishna Kurup and Mr. Suresh Kurup, former Member of Parliament. All of them were brilliant lawyers. I have always wondered why Kundur Ravindranathan Nair did not attain the heights and monetary success which he could have easily attained in the profession. I think that this was because he was not ambitious. He was a complacent and contented man. His connections were so high that if only he had chosen to exploit at least some of them, he would have become one of the richest and busiest lawyers in the Kerala High Court. But then Ravi sir believed that lawyers are not expected to go after briefs. It was for the clients to bring their briefs to the lawyer. Summarizing, I may say that Sri Ravindranathan Nair was, both as a lawyer and as a human being, a class apart. He had an unyielding faith in judicial process. He was very fair both in his professional life and in personal life. He respected every individual. He never spoke ill of anyone. He had his own likes and dislikes, but he never imposed them on others, including his own two sons. He never compromised on the values he believed in. Ravi sir was a voracious reader. He read not only law, but literature also. Some of you may be knowing that our Hari is a first-class painter, but only a few of you know that his father, Ravindranathan Nair, drew and painted much better than his son. When we in the Kerala Judicial Academy thought in terms of launching our present program of retaining the nobility and preserving the majesty of the legal profession, we had the likes of Kondur Ravindranathan Nair in our minds. On this occasion, I remember Mrs. Lelitha Ravindranathan Nair, Mr. Kondur's life partner. Their love and liking for each other was unusual, and she lived only for just 1 year more after she lost her husband. Before I conclude, I may recall my last memory of Ravindranathan Nair. After I had assumed office as a judge, I had not visited him. But in 2004, just 2 days before the court was closing for midsummer vacation, he appeared before us. That is Justice K.S. Radhakrishnan and me in court number 6 of the old High Court in a very substantial rent control matter. The advocates who appeared against him before us, the advocate who appeared against Ravindranathan Nair was none other than senior advocate Mr. C.T.R. Raman Pillai, who was his colleague in Govinda Menon's office. The senior judge on the bench, Justice Radhakrishnan, I have already mentioned, was the son of C.K. Shivashankara Panikar, his senior colleague in Govinda Menon's office. I told Justice Radhakrishnan that the three of them constituted a perfect Kottayam trio and that he should suggest to the advocates to explore the possibilities of a compromise. Justice Radhakrishnan readily agreed and suggested a compromise, and both of them readily agreed, and the case was adjourned for filing compromise. Immediately thereafter, we rose for lunch, and after dropping Justice Radhakrishnan in his chamber, on my way to my own chamber, which was just below court number 6, I saw Ravindranathan Nair standing near the staircase, near to the old steno pool. I stopped and asked him whether he will be in his house during the vacation. He told me that during the first half, he will be there. My idea was to visit him so that once again I could enjoy his witty and very useful conversation. But the very next day in the morning, I got message from his house that Ravi sir is gone. I salute his memory and wish that the law foundation initiated by his son, who is neither a lawyer nor anybody directly connected with the legal system, achieves its goals. I thank all of you for the patient audience.